Suppose we're given this complex fraction over here, and our goal is to rewrite this without an I in the denominator. Well, the way to do that is to multiply the conjugates of the denominator on the top and the bottom. So first of all, what is a conjugate? Well, if you have something like a plus bi, the conjugate is just changing the plus to a minus or the minus to a plus, so a minus bi. All right, so the procedure of multiplying the conjugate of this guy, so 3 plus 2i would be the conjugate of 3 minus 2i. If we multiply that on the top and the bottom, first of all, that's a legal operation in the sense that you're not changing the value of this fraction because we're really multiplying by 1 because we're multiplying the same thing on the top and the bottom. So we're not changing the value of this fraction, and when you multiply it out, the top just becomes 5 times this, because remember, to multiply fractions, you just multiply the tops and the bottoms. So this is just going to be 5 times 3 plus 2i, and the bottom is just going to be 3 minus 2i, 3 plus 2i. And the reason we did this, multiplying by the conjugate, is because we know that a plus b multiplied by a minus b, if you were to FOIL that out, that simplifies to just a squared minus b squared, because the plus ab and the minus ab terms sort of cancel out with each other. So we're going to use that to say that this would simplify to a, which is just the first term, squared, minus b, which is the second term, squared. So long story short, first, to simplify this, I'm now going to just distribute the top, the 5 on the top. So that's going to be 5 times 3 is 15, plus 5 times 2 is 10. So 15 plus 10i, that's the top. And the bottom, we essentially have 3 plus 2i, 3 minus 2i. So that's going to simplify to 3 squared. So that's a squared minus 2i is really that second term. So a squared minus b squared. Right? And so once you do that, and again, you would get the same thing if you multiplied that out. 3 times 3 is 9. Then this is 6i plus 6i minus 6i. So they cancel each other out. And finally, you're left with minus 2i times 2i. So there's a minus, but then, 2i times 2i. So here I'm just going to keep the numerator as is, 15 plus 10i. And in the bottom, 3 squared is 9. And then minus, and if you think about what 2i squared is, 2 squared is 4. And then I squared is negative 1. So this is 4 times negative 1, or negative 4. And now we could think of this as 9 minus negative 4 as 9 plus 4. So, and 9 plus 4 is 13. So 15 plus 10i over 13 is our final answer.